Whew. So in lieu of that, finishing that interim assessment, I wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to get done with all the stuff as far as slope in time for the test, because the test is going to be either Thursday if I think we're ready, but most likely it's going to be Friday. So if you're planning on leaving on Friday, then you need to make sure you get with me. That way, you can go ahead and get the test done on like Thursday, something like that. Just because I know if we leave for over a week, because it's about 9 days for Thanksgiving break and all, yay. But I know if we leave for that long and we're not working on slope, we're going to easily forget all of our stuff. And then whenever we come back and we have to take the test, I don't want us to bomb it. So that's why I'm putting back the interim assessment. We'll just have time to do that outside of school, basically. So yeah, that can be done at home, whatever, during tutorials. I don't really care about it anymore. But yeah, we still have a little bit of stuff left from slope, and I want to make sure that we get a good grade on this slope test, okay? So, what we're going to be learning today is going to be slope-intercept formula with graphs. So all the slope-intercept formula is just this y equals mx plus b, which we've seen before, but we still just have to make sure we know exactly what letters mean what. So there's a little tip here that kind of lets you know about non-proportional relationships and y-intercepts and all that stuff. We're going to pay attention to that later because I want to really just get straight to the facts of it all and all that good stuff, okay? So whenever they write out this y equals mx plus b formula, they want you to know that that m means, of course, slope. I think we're pretty familiar with that by now. But I also want to make sure we know what exactly is slope. How do you get slope? All right, so slope is the steepness of a line. So it's not to be confused with Pythagorean theorem. I know some people, whenever we wind up doing certain problems on Pythagorean theorem, we're like, oh, do rise over run. No, Pythagorean theorem is going to measure how long a side is on a right triangle, okay? But as far as slope, this is measuring the steepness, or in other words, kind of like the angle of the line. So those are two totally different things. Want to make sure that's clear. All right, the next thing that's super important for us to know is what this B means. And they kind of let you know right here. So the B means the y-intercept. So right, y-intercept. And then all that tells you is where the line winds up crossing the y-axis. So that's why it's called y-intercept. Where the y intercepts the line, or I need to flip that, where the line intercepts the y. So we're going to say, just in parentheses right here, where the line crosses the y-axis. That way we have the definitions if need be. Okay, so next thing, they give us just a little bit of a couple of example problems. So this is if you ever have to write an equation from a graph. So a problem like this has actually come up with y'all before on like certain papers and stuff, and we still get a little confused as far as how to do it, which is fair because we haven't had our fair time to be able to even go over how to do this properly. So anytime they give you a line on a graph like this, first thing you need to do, at least the first thing I would do, was first I would try to find the y-intercept, okay? So I'm going to put B equals, because that's what y-intercept means. And then I have to figure out where this line crosses the y-axis. So here is the y-axis right here. So where does this line hit at then? It hits right here at +2. Okay, because here's the origin right here. 1, 2, boom. So we're going to say B equals 2, because that's our y-intercept. The next step is to figure out what your slope is by doing your rise over your run. All right, so I'm going to put my little rise with my y over here and my run. So in order to be able to do this, all you have to do is just find 2 points that completely land evenly on 2 lines, okay? So I see a point right here that completely and evenly lands on 2 lines. There's some right here as well, a pair right here as well, and a pair right there as well. So there's kind of a lot of different choices that you can pick from. Okay, but I'm just gonna make sure it's just nice and simple and just go from maybe this line to this line, or this dot to this dot. Okay, so once I do that, what did you have to rise by? What did you have to go up or down by? Hopefully we know we had to just go by 1 box. And then what'd you have to wind up running by? 1, 2. So 2. So my rise over run is 1 over 2. Okay, but then you have to make sure you check, is that line a positive or is it a negative? So you have to make sure you look at the line from left to right and see what it's doing. Is it going up or is it going down in this case? It is going down, so that means our rise over run is then -1/2. So we're going to say our slope is -1/2 here. And now you officially have all your numbers for your equation. So whenever they ask you to write the equation, just put y equals, in this case, -1/2 x plus 2. And the reason why we're going to say plus 2 is because this 2 was a positive. Now, if this 2 was a negative, then it would have to say -2 instead. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and do these example problems right here. So at first it just says find the y-intercepts, which we will do. We'll find the y-intercepts. But then after that, I still want to practice to make sure we're good at being able to find the slopes as well. So starting on this one right here, where's our y-intercept at? Boom, right here at +2, once again. Where's our y-intercept at here? Ooh, it's at the origin. So that means our y-intercept is then just 0. On this one down at the bottom left-hand corner, where's our y-intercept at this time? Right here at a -3. And then lastly, where's our y-intercept on this one? It is at a +1. So it's going to say B equals 1. So we successfully found all of our y-intercepts, which is great. Now I want to make sure that we're able to find our slopes and then from there be able to write the equations. So let's go back up to where we started at right here. So if I try to find 2 points, only 2 points, because it looks like there's multiple points to be able to pick from here. And you have to find 2 points that land evenly on 2 lines. I see a second point right here. So I'm going to just kind of shade that in and ask myself, as far as rise over run, what did I have to rise by and what did I have to run by? So if I'm going up or down, I had to rise by 1. And if I'm going left or right, I had to rise by, or run by, 2. And then if we look to make sure that the what the line is doing, if it's going up or going down, if you look from left to right, this line is going downward. So that's -1/2. So whenever I go to write this equation, it is going to say y equals, what do you think? Should say negative 1/2 x and then plus 2. So this problem is just like the one on the example. So let's try another one. So on this one, if we're doing, once again, rise over run, and we have to find 2 points. Well, they were nice and actually gave us 2 points already. They gave us multiple points, actually. So let's say we're trying to connect these two. Okay, so if this is the case, what did you have to rise by or go up or down? 1, 2. What did you have to run by or go left or right? 1, 2. So that means it's 2 over 2. Which can really just simplify to just 1. All right, so whenever we go to write our formula, this one's going to look kind of weird because it's going to say y equals, and then since our slope was just a 1, instead of putting y equals 1x, we're just going to put x. All right, and then since our y-intercept was 0, instead of putting plus 0, we're not going to put anything. So it's just going to look like y equals x. All right, third one. Okay, so once again, if we're having to do rise over run, got to find 2 points. We already have 1 point, which is our y-intercept. And let's see if we can find another point. Let's see, I found one right here. All right, so if that's the case, what did I have to rise by or go up or down by? To go up or down by 1. What about the run? Had to go 2. So then rise over run is 1 over 2. And then this is positive or negative? That is positive, because if you look from left to right, it's going up. So then this formula is going to say y equals positive 1/2 x. And then since this is a negative 3, it's going to say minus 3. And then last one right here. So it says, well, it doesn't say anything yet. We're going to put rise over run. Okay. And then we're going to find 2 points once again. So I found 2 points right there. Okay, my y-intercept in this. And then if I do rise over run, I had to rise or go up or down by 1, 2, 3. Yikes, running out of space right there. And then if I had to run, I had to run by positive 2. Okay, and then if you look at this line from left to right, is it going up or going down? It is going down, so my bad about running out of space there. But it's negative 3 over 2. So whenever I go to write my formula out, then this is going to say y equals negative 3 over 2x. And then we said that our y-intercept was a positive 1. So it's going to say plus 1. And that's how you do those. All right. Now, something that doesn't come up as often, but it's still worth mentioning is, what if you have to actually take the equation and actually graph it? Now, this isn't really the case too much for us because on the star, they're not going to make you actually draw the line out. And even if they come up with a problem like this, I'm going to show you a way that you can do it in the calculator, I believe tomorrow. So, like I said, it's worth mentioning, but as far as going over it again and again and again by hand, I'm not going to make y'all do it by hand a whole lot. I'm just going to show y'all the calculator way tomorrow. So if they ever make you graph this, any equation for that matter, okay, keep in mind this is your slope and this is your y-intercept. Okay, so what you would first have to do is make sure you plot your y-intercept, which in this case they said was at positive 2. So that means you have to start at the origin. and go to your y-intercept, which is at +2. So that's on your y-axis. There's your y-intercept of 2. And then from there, you have to use rise over run for your slope, starting at the y-intercept. So if we turn this slope into a fraction, because we have to make sure we do rise over run, then just a regular whole number of 3 can be turned into 3 over 1. So then 3 is going to be my rise, 1 is going to be my run. So if I'm starting at the y-axis like they told me to, I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3 boxes, and then go to the right by 1, because those were both positive moves. And there you go. Like I said, if you didn't quite understand what I just did, of course, feel free to rewind the video, but also don't stress too hard about it, because there's not going to be a whole lot of this that we're going to have to do by hand. We can easily just type it into the calculator, and I'll let us know how to do that tomorrow. All right. We're going to make sure that we paste this in hamburger style, of course. I think this is going to be page 38, and we're going to just give it the same exact title as what's right here. Just being really lazy with these so far. Sorry. But after that, we should be getting on MobyMax, and there should be a couple of assignments to be able to do with this stuff. All right. Thank you. Bye.